Hi, Sister Ann Laughlin here. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a long time since I've done a video. The last time I done a video, I was going over that my husband Wes had been in the hospital in the ICU. He was in a coma for a week, and then he was still in the hospital for several weeks, all the way having to deal with physical therapy to learn how to get around again. So anyway, I was trying to get back on track and keep videos coming and getting out. But another incident happened with him. He was actually going to a follow-up appointment to his doctor's office, and car broke down. And when he was trying to fix the car, he had a COPD attack. We didn't know he had COPD. Anyway, he contacted me, and I tried to get to him before the ambulance got to him, but it was too far away. I couldn't get to where he was at. And turns out I had a blood clot in my heart, and I sit down on the side of the road because I thought my COPD was acting up because of trying to walk too far that I'm capable of. And well, instead it turns out I had a clot in my heart in the atrial valve, but I didn't know that. I blacked out on the road, and a neighbor drove by and got me in their car and called 911 and met the ambulance halfway to town. And so we were both in the ER at the same time. He was around the corner from me, and so here I'm thinking that it was his heart again, and we thought it was my COPD, and we switched places. He ended up on third floor, and I was on second floor. And the next day after I was admitted, I had heart surgery to remove the clot and repair the atrial valve. And yes, I'm okay, and so is he. Wow. I don't like looking at myself today because I'm looking and I'm like, my hair looks cruddy and I look awful. In other words, the last few weeks have been a little rough, but hey, you know what? The point about this channel is that no matter what life trials keep coming at us, we just keep trying to do better, improve whatever's going on. And he survived his COPD attack, and I survived the blood clot, and I'm going back in the wheelchair because my balance issues are getting worse instead of better. In fact, the last time I went to the ER, my oxygen was down to 72%, and I passed out while I was walking right in front of a nurse. And she let me fall. She actually let me fall. And when I landed, whenever you land face forward, you always close your eyes automatically. It's a self-defense mechanism. And instead of getting help from others, she herself rolled me over, but she was so careless, she scratched me really bad across my chest. And she told me to open my eyes, that I was faking it. This nurse had some issues. Turns out that a lot of drug addicts had been in there before me, and she literally was accusing me of faking. And when she set me up, she helped me get into a chair and put me aside. She didn't check any of my vitals. And when my husband was out parking the car, and when I was trying to get myself inside. And the patients around me told him what happened, and it ticked him off. He went and found the head nurse of the ER. Head nurse came to me. She did my vitals. My oxygen was down to 72%, and my blood pressure was really way out of whack. Not really a surprise considering I actually had a blood clot, but nobody knew what my problem was. All we knew was that my oxygen was low and my blood pressure was crazy. So the nurse hooked me up to an IV and got things going really quick. And the nurse that had literally let me fall on my face, I actually bounced my forehead off the concrete floor there in the emergency room hallway. Yeah, there's carpet over it, but it's still a concrete floor. And her first question was, after she rolled me over, was, well, does your head hurt now? I'm like, lady? And this is what I was thinking, but I didn't say because she had me scared of her because of the way she treated me. And I have a headache 24/7. 5 strokes, brain surgery. The consequences of brain surgery is constant headaches. Before the strokes, I've had migraines for years. So I always have a headache. If it's not one extreme, it's the other, or both. But she had me so scared, I wouldn't even talk to her. Wouldn't even answer her. The most I would tell her was my name and my date of birth, which is what we do in the military too. So, oh well, life happens. We just keep on trying to go on, right? So when my husband gets in there and the ER head nurse takes care of me, and then they do the test, and I expected them to be treating me for my lungs, COPD, asthma, and the next thing I know, I'm being treated for a heart. Yeah. Really, really confusing. And what's worse is, then within a week, not even, I think it was a week, then I get diagnosed by another emergency room doctor. I have emphysema. I have stage level 3 emphysema. How can I go from not knowing I have it in the first place to stage level 3? There's only 4 levels of stages. It's not as bad as cancer. Well, some people say it is, but I don't think so. There's no cure, only treatment of symptoms, and they're the same treatments that you get for COPD. Go figure. So they upped my oxygen, and I'm actually supposed to be on oxygen now, but to be inside the house to do this video with my husband watching TV, that's audio doesn't work very well that way. So I'm out here. So I changed from 2 liters of oxygen at night and as needed in the daytime to 3 liters. Supposed to be all the time now. And nebulizer treatments with medicines called albuterol. And you see that in little red puffers, but they also put it in the nebulizer, which is instead of breathing through a puffer, they put a face mask over your face, and in that the medicine goes into, and it vaporizes into vapor. So then you breathe in vapor instead, and it opened up bronchial tubes. I think that's what they said. My COPD is the type where my muscles don't let my lungs open up to get air in, and my emphysema is your breastbone and your ribs that goes in front of your ribs start breaking, and when you breathe, it causes the chest to It's hard to know the difference between if it's your lungs or your heart. So I went from one extreme to another extreme, medical wise. But you know what? God has a plan for me. I don't know what it is, but He has a plan, and that's okay. I think it's just sharing the word about Him, saying, we got to get back to listening to Him. And that's what's wrong with our world right now, is people aren't listening to God. He created us. And DC is really off their rockers. They're really ignoring God. And I'm independent. Not Republican, not Democrat, not whatever. I'm independent. I like to research to see who's running for office. I want to know their records, their track records. And what have they done good? And if they've done bad, have they paid for their dues? Don't hold things against people, because once they've paid for their sins, Jesus Christ forgives. So you can't really hold everything against them. You have to move forwards and see what their current activity is, not what happened 7 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years. Doesn't matter what happened 40 years ago. We're not 40 years ago. So, anyway, I'm running my time over. I am really, really running my time over. Goodness. I need to do more videos so we can get this out there. We need to get back to God. Just know I'm back. I'm praying for you. God bless.